I will call this meeting to order, and we will have Spanish interpretation. For those that are viewing online, se dispondrá de interpretación simultánea del inglés al español durante la reunión de Consejo de Educación para quienes la estén viendo por internet. And now we will do our pledges of allegiance. If we'll all rise and begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, and now we have very slim meeting today, but we'll go ahead and do our roll call.
Okay, Mrs. Alvarez Flores is absent. Dr. Armistead is absent, and Mrs. Carty is absent. But Ms. Ehrman?
Here.
Okay. Mrs. Frost?
Present.
Mrs. Reed?
Here.
And Mr. Walker? I see him. Thank you.
Awesome. Great. Okay, and we don't have any changes to the agenda today. So now we have board comments. Does anyone would anyone like to does anyone have a comment today? No comments. All right. Well, oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Board Member Walker.
I'm sure Susan will probably say something about this. Thanks for sending that info out on SBCEO and Communify. I always just love seeing two good organizations work together and support each other. So thank you to your team and for doing that and for sending out the notice.
Oh, you're welcome. Exciting opportunity for more preschool children to be served here in Santa Maria.
Yeah.
It wasn't us. It wasn't meant to be, but it's Communify. And we're so glad it's Communify that it will serve the children. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, thank you for that. And as you can see, we have a small board today, but we still have a quorum. Fortunately, our board members, Armistead, Flores, and Carty couldn't be here, but we'll be back in full force next month. And then I just wanted to say happy new year for school. Well, school year. Happy new school year. We have a lot of students starting school this month, all of the counties. We have many schools, I think Santa Maria, San Ynez, Orchid, I think maybe Cuyama are starting today. So just wanted to congratulate and really excited for this new year for all our educators, paraeducators, and youth. So at this time, do we have any public comments?
No public comment here.
Okay, so then we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you so very much, and good afternoon to everyone here and in Santa Barbara, and a successful dual location meeting thanks to Donald and our communications team and Francisco who's there and everyone else who participates, Anna and Arlene who are offline and all the comms folks. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And a happy back to school indeed. So exciting. So exciting. So you have the superintendent's report, lots that have happened over the summer. And I wanted to linger actually, as you read through the report, I wanted to highlight one piece that I thought was very important and continues a conversation that the board had at its last meeting having to do with interdistrict transfer requests. And so on page 9, you'll see student numbers because, of course, we're not sharing the names of the families, but I want to give a thanks to the board for highlighting the need and desire to help families navigate to their schools, all schools, but a new school for that family. And a thanks to Elise Simmons for taking that charge and really running with it. So you see that the 3 students here, of the 3, 2 really worked very, very closely with Mark Palmerston. And in one case, got into a school of the family's choice, even though that school was not their neighborhood school necessarily. It really worked for the family. One, I thought it was really important to report to that one family has not yet been successfully navigated, not because we haven't tried, it just hasn't happened yet. And perhaps the family is going to go in a different direction. But nonetheless, I wanted to report out that through the efforts of the board, the conversations we've had with Elise and Bridget Boblitz, who's I know in the room in Santa Barbara, just wanted to say thanks. I think it's really meaningful to have that navigation support. So that is it for now, and I'll take any questions on the superintendent's report that you may have.
Just, this is probably more for my education. So the first page,
Yes.
Student enrollment in SBCEO schools and programs. If I were looking for something, what is it that I'm looking for? I mean, when I see these numbers, some of what it suggests to me is like JCCS suggests that kids are incarcerated some sort of way. So the fluctuation is they've finished their time, they've moved on.
Right.
In all likelihood to some other school within our purview. But we started January with 385. We basically in the year were 187. Is that significant? Is that?
Yeah, I think it really is. You do see, first of all, with juvenile court and community school, especially with Dos Puertas, I'll say, that really is an ebb and flow that's, I will say, is very unpredictable. Some of the other, so Fitzgerald here at Farnell, slightly more predictable in that we start out in July with, like we do right now, with the report says 9 individual students. And then as the year progresses to June, we'll get more and more and more students. That's kind of the predictability there.
That's a function of their sentence or something.
So the community school is not a court mandated school.
Okay.
It's a school here, Fitzgerald, for junior high, Santa Maria Bonita, and high school students from Santa Maria Joint Union High School District. And the districts have tried multiple different ways to support the students. And it comes to a time where it might be a better education environment for the student to be at a smaller school here at Fitzgerald. So that tends to happen more throughout the year, where they're starting out at their home school environment and then being supported coming here at Fitzgerald. Whereas Dos Puertas is more, these students are justice involved. There's a situation that occurred, oftentimes not even at school, out in the community. And it is it's a court mandated program there.
That's the program we went to see.
That's the program we went to see at the Juvenile Justice Center, correct.
But they both fall under JCCS.
Correct. Juvenile court and community schools. So one's court and as the other's community. So great.
More community.
That's right. Community. Exactly. And then the other programs, really, I mean, it is a chart that several years ago, the board said, gosh, how many students are in our program? So if you go to the very last right-hand column, that's really the updated number. And the one next to it, it says, okay, what was it July last year? And let's see what it is now this year. And then the other dates are really just as the year goes on. So that's how the chart is read. But it's really to answer a question that you may be curious about, which is, in the programs that we're operating at JCCS, how many students are right now in that program? And it's a head count at a certain date in that month. So it's not always the first. It's not always the fifth. It's kind of an approximate number of enrollees, so you can get a sense of, okay, we don't have 1,000 students, we have 100 students, or we have 525, that kind of thing. Great question. Thank you so much for asking for clarity. All right, I'll hand it back to you, to President Ehrman.
Thank you. And I also just wanted to thank you for, as always, I really appreciate the information for that you provide and the superintendent report and everything that's happening with certification and budgets and especially I'm glad you mentioned it because I did notice that and it was very heartwarming in a way to know that some of the concerns or the suggestions or recommendations that we had as a board were taken into effect, and the team always does such a great job. So it was great to see that follow up and those great outcomes. So. Thank you again. And then, so we will now move on to the consent agenda. So we'll consider all the items below together and act upon them as a single vote. They comprise of the minutes of the meeting from last month, July 9th, registration of credentials and other certification documents, acceptance of donations, declaration of surplus, and issuance of high school graduation diploma. So do I have a motion to approve all consent items?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Perfect. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, vote passes unanimously. And now we'll move on to the action items. And so the first item we have is the recommended approval of Olive Grove Charter School. The superintendent recommends approval of memorandum of understanding between the County of Education and the Olive Grove Charter School. I'll Ms. Boblitz, if you'd like to take it over.
Certainly. Thank you. Good afternoon, board. As you know, we have been working on finalizing the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding with Olive Grove, Santa Barbara, and our office or the county board. And so that has gone through a few different little iterations between their legal counsel and our legal counsel to arrive at this finalized MOU. I will let you know that the Olive Grove board is also hearing this today and moving on the MOU. So the goal or hope would be that we will ratify and approve at the same day. This MOU does establish the framework for the 5-year duration of the relationship between Olive Grove and the county board, and thereby the county office in acting on your authority. It really sets up just a couple of highlights. It sets up your oversight responsibilities and the role that the county board has, and that relationship again with the county office, the superintendent, and staff. It also sets really clear expectations for governance, what our roles and responsibilities are, transparency, fiscal monitoring, the compliance that Olive Grove has in adhering to all laws. And additionally, it sets up a structure for our oversight process. So how many times we'll visit. We'll do a site visit annually. How frequently we plan to meet with their team. We're planning to meet with them biannually when clear deadlines are due of documents that we need to receive. And then lastly, it really provides some risk management and liability protections, not only for the county office, but the county board and staff. And it really sets apart that while there's the authorization of the charter school is its own entity and operates solely on its own. So in terms of what changes maybe occurred between when you saw the draft in June to now, there were only some minor changes, truly. There was a little bit around performance indicators, and then just anything tightening up in terms of deadlines and timelines related to anything that was in Ed Code. I will say that the council for Olive Grove wanted to make sure that what was in here was fully aligned with Ed Code and that we were not overextending our oversight outside of the scope that we were permitted through Ed Code. So I hope that you all had a chance to read it again. I know it's dense. I think it comes in at 41 pages and or 42 pages. And if you have specific questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, we'd be looking for approval today on that.
Um,
This,
Judy.
yes, thank you. When Olive Grove Charter School of Santa Barbara was under Santa Barbara Unified, did they need to have a MOU in
So
that relationship?
So they have never been authorized by Santa Barbara Unified. They recall they were authorized by the State Board of
Oh.
Education. You technically don't have to have an MOU. The charter petition sort of outlines what they're going to follow, but it is a very good practice to have an MOU to cover the topics that are not outlined in a charter, like the risk management and all of the oversight that we want to engage in with the charter school.
So this will be a first time that Olive Grove Charter Santa Barbara has operated under this type of agreement.
You know, that's a great question, Judy. And I don't know if there was an agreement with the State Board of Ed and the charter school. I'm not sure. I honestly don't know that.
Okay.
I do know that when their legal counsel received ours, they said, "Ooh, this is pretty dense,
Dance.
and it covers more than we're used to." So
Yeah.
I think that was part of why it took a little longer. But I will say that my understanding is with the other 3 districts who are now authorizing the charters, that I know 2 of the 3 do have an established MOU. And last I heard from the director or superintendent, Meg Redman.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
A couple of quick ones. One, when it was a single school at Los Olivos,
Yes.
you guys had they had a MOU, yes?
Yes, but it was also operated as a what we would kind of an older term, but it was a dependent charter school. So it was operated direct by the district. It was a school of the district. So
Okay.
it's a little bit of a different circumstance.
Yeah.
Their staff were actually employees of the district.
Okay. My question had to do with the county board
Yes.
has the right, or I don't know if it's necessary, but have a representative on that board. I know it's typical that we would then authorize staff some sort of way to do that. Have we done that part yet? Have we authorized somebody to
sit or listen in on their board meetings? It would most likely, it's a little bit tricky. I will just say their board meetings happen on the same day as our board meetings.
Oh, fun.
So that is a little bit of a conflict. So I have been designated as their point of contact. And so at this point, I mean, you have not designated someone, but I have been designated from the county staff to be the point of contact for the board. I did receive their agenda for their meeting today, and that is outlined in here, but am not able to listen in because we're at the same time. So that's a little bit tricky. Go ahead.
And I'll add on too, and I really appreciate Board Member Walker's experience with charter schools. So the question may actually be derived in, is it required that the county board designate an individual from the county staff to be on their board? And it isn't required. It isn't required. And so the assurance is that in this MOU, we can though, if the board were to say, let's do it, let's do that. What the assurances in this MOU actually go around us not having a designee for every one of their board meetings, but rather having a point person for, which is what Bridget was sharing, that we would ensure that all of their board agendas and materials come to us, all, you know, that we may go, we may attend, we may, you know, sit in, all of that. But I think because of the design of our board meetings, we chose not to in this MOU for both Olive Grove, Santa Barbara, and us to have one of the county board members be on their board.
I would encourage somewhat as a best practice, because of the way this is written, we happen to have a friendly board. I can envision you having a board where folks are not necessarily aligned. And so they're pressing the point, I want to attend the meeting. And while the easy thing would be, I'm not going to stop you from attending the meeting, we know the reality is like that's probably not good form. So in my opinion, I mean, I would suggest it's simple for us to do. And I'm also suggesting for future boards, if that's the practice, to simply say designate superintendent or their designee to be the point person. Which, also I think then sort of says to the rest of the board, guy, you're not the point person, right? And those meetings are public, so certainly I could go as a member of the public, but I could also see where you could get a trustee sort of pushing the point. And if the board has voted, we have designated someone, that just seems to make that issue go away.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And Bridget, let me make sure that what I said earlier in response to Board Member Walker's question is accurate in terms of how we have we may have an individual on their board, but we are instead having a point person relationship instead. If you want to point to it, feel free.
Yes, it is on page 5 and 6 of the MOU. And we did not take away the opportunity to have a representative from the county board to be able to attend their meetings. What I need to go back and just clarify in my own mind, because there is a lot in here, is I believe, and you may know if you know, I believe it is a non-voting member, but that you can attend the meeting. So you don't have any voting power, but you are open to come. And then we also put in here that they send us the materials. So at this point, it's what Dr. Salcido said. It would be reviewing the materials, and then possibly, attending if there's something that looks like on an agenda, hey, we want to go, and we can make that. I do not know at this point. I have not had the conversation with Superintendent Ridman to ask if those are recorded meetings that then can go back and be watched. I do not know that answer yet, but the way that the MOU is written is it gives us the flexibility to have a representative if we so choose to do so.
And Bridget, I think I found what you're referring to, if I may point it out on page, I think you said it, 6, right? Page 6?
Correct.
Okay, item number 12.
Yeah. It's actually item number 6 on page 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and item number 12. Yes. Where the county board through SBCO shall have the right to designate a representative to attend all meetings of the charter and its committees, et cetera. So thank you for pointing that out.
And I think my only point is that they're really talking to the board, not the staff. And so trying to prevent potential, I think having the board designate to staff, that sort of gets around one row person.
Yes, got it. Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for Board Member Walker for that that insight. And while I was reviewing it, I was thinking, one, this is, unprecedented for the board to have this to be the authorizer. One, and then there's a lot there that we have oversight, their budget, their facilities, their safety plan. And this is very well put together and comprehensive. And my thought is like, how, as a board, are we going to have a regular cadence of updating these things? Like, when is it time to check on the facilities? is it time to check on the financials? You see what I'm saying? So I guess my thought process is moving forward. Is there some sort of like, shall we put this into a board meeting, or this is something that we can table and maybe talk about for future, like in a future agenda item, as how to include this into our routine business as a board moving forward now that we have the MOU set?
That's a great question. And I think that is definitely something that the board may want to discuss. What I will tell you as staff, and in here, you're sort of delegating your oversight responsibilities and authority to the county superintendent and staff. And so we will be, and I've been putting together a large spreadsheet with multiple tabs of all of our oversight responsibilities. Our associate superintendent will all be playing a part in their particular areas. And so we, as staff, will be regularly monitoring that. I will be ensuring that the timelines are met, be working directly with their office or their superintendent. So I want to assure you that some of that you're thinking about, we'll make sure to handle. I think most importantly is, how do you all want that communicated out? What would that look like? Is that a regular update? There will be an annual update that the board will receive, both our board and their board, on sort of a comprehensive overview of what occurred throughout the year, but fully open to having a conversation if you want more regular updates about where we are in the process or whatnot.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you.
Yes.
And any other questions, thoughts, ideas, insights? Okay. Well, then, do we have a motion to approve the Olive Grove Charter School and Memorandum of Understanding?
So moved.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, it looks like it is approved unanimously. And then next, we're going to move on. Thank you, Ms. Publitz, to the recommended approval of a new lease. So the superintendent recommends approval to enter into a lease for an additional suite located on Ocean Avenue in Lompoc. This suite will house office space for early care and education program, and the lease will be paid by the EDE program. The lease will be renewable on a one-year cycle beginning January 1st, 2022. So, Superintendent Salcido, would you like to speak to this a little bit more before we take our vote?
Oh, thank you very much. And for the previous item, I want to say thanks again to Bridget and the team and our legal counsel partners for their support. And thank you to the board for your trust in our ability to oversee and support your role as authorizers in this new endeavor. For the new lease, I just wanted to say it says July 1st, 2027. So I wanted to make sure that you knew that every 1 year. ECE is, as you very well know, is not a large program, but a continually growing program. So they need to have space for their staff to operate. And so I appreciate the ECE's early care and education fiscal responsibility. They're staying within their budget. They're not going over it. They have the budget to have this monthly lease handled through their funds. And so you see the whole list here in your book. And I think we will field questions should you have them, but I think it's a need because of the growing staff and programs.
Perfect. Thank you. Does anyone have any thoughts? No. I did just have a quick question in looking at all of the operational leases for the special education leases. So the third lease that we have at Allen Hancock College, the lease term ends on July 4th, 2026, it says. And then it says automatic renewal, but all the other ones are automatic renewal ending on 2027. And then 5 and 6 also did have a 2026 end date. So I just wanted to see if there was any reason why that one was different than the rest, or those 3 were different than the rest.
Great question. I'm going to look to then Kirsten. We're looking at go ahead, Steve, if you'd like to approach the podium, if you want to. And Kirsten is here to address that once she takes a look. Thank you, President Ehrman, for the question.
Yeah, good question. The goal probably over the last, maybe started about 3 years ago, was to get them all on the same cycle, and just in updating the document, if it wasn't renewed at the time that we brought the document
Okay.
the last time, we didn't change the date
Okay.
to say that it's on that cycle. So that's,
Understood.
that is the date when we initiated that change. We just didn't update that. So that's a good note, and we'll make sure that every time we bring it, that the most current lease end term is on there.
Okay, and that makes sense. And it says automatic renewal, so but it just,
No,
that
it's
was
good.
the question.
Yeah,
So
good
that,
question.
and
Yeah.
you gave the answer. Thank you for clearing that up.
Thank you.
So-
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. So now we will ask for a motion to approve the new lease for ECE at the Ocean Avenue Suite.
I'll move.
Okay, and do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And motion passes. And then we'll move on to item 16, reimburse expense for board members to attend the California School Boards Association County School Board Member Service Conference for September 26. So the board will now consider whether to approve the reimbursement of actual and necessary expenses for board members to attend the California School Boards Association County Board Member Service Conference from September 25th through September 27th in Marina Del Rey. So this is if requested in accordance with Board Policy 9250. And I know that we've had these similar motions in the past for any sort of events or conferences. Superintendent Solcito, did you want to speak further to this?
I'll add that the next item on your agenda will be another conference, but related. And so in just for transparency for the public and the audience in the room, there are materials at the board members' places. It's just a sheet of paper that shows both the conferences, one in September and one in December. The one in September, item 16, is approximately $700 for registration and about $300 per night for hotels. So I just wanted to say the cost now out loud. And then for 17, which you'll vote on in a moment, that's the CSBA AEC conference, annual education conference in San Diego. That one's about $900 per person, and the hotel will range around $300 per person as well. You can also see board members who may be able to attend. They're not saying that they will attend, but they were at the time of polling available. Board Member Ehrman, one of the questions we had, bigger question that we can address at another time, was would either of these work for all members of the county board? And we can see now that they don't. Neither do. So it may be that the board would like to vote on whether or not to reimburse for board members. And then we can, when the board members are back, we can see who might be interested in actually attending. So there's that. The first one in September, of course, is county board focused. And then the second one, the one in December, is more broad, mostly district focused, but as board members have said, a really good one for county board members to attend as well. So thank you for letting me add on a couple of items there.
Thank you. That was very helpful. So now we will, I'll ask for a motion to approve the reimbursement of actual and necessary expenses for board members to attend this conference, the CSBA Counties Conference.
So moved.
And do I have a second?
Well, second.
Okay.
Com-
All,
com- Comment before we go to the vote.
okay.
Uh,
Please, discussion.
so, yeah, and I somewhat defer to you, Susan. To me, like I would attend both of these. I look at the county one as let me learn and understand more about how county boards work. The second one, while there's always good workshops and sessions that runs on, really my interest in going has to do with having local school districts be there so that I can fraternize with them a bit and build that relationship. Um, I have long encouraged local school boards to go to that AEC. And I do think it's a good opportunity that for those of us who can attend that, to go and be with those districts that you have representation of. So just wanted to sort of give a perspective on they both are learning opportunities. I do view the second one really more as a way of supporting the districts in my trustee area.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Walker. So we had a motion and we had a second. Okay. And all in favor? Aye. Okay. And then we'll move forward to the second motion to reimburse expenses for board members to attend the California School Boards Association Annual Education Conference in December. So similarly, this is a motion to approve the reimbursement of actual and necessary expenses to attend this conference in December 3rd through the 5th in San Diego. And do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Okay, and do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, and then all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then opposed, then that motion passes. And then now we will go to our public hearing. So this is our public hearing on textbook and instructional materials compliance. This hearing, public hearing regarding the Santa Barbara County Education Office compliance with regulations regarding the availability of textbooks and instructional materials as required by the Williams case settlement will be held. Is that?
I think I disrupted things,
Yeah.
President.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So, so yes, we're at our public hearing right now. So it doesn't look like we have any public comment here.
We do not have any public here either
Oh,
for the
okay.
hearing. Yes.
All right. Well, gavel, gavel. Open and close. Sorry. All
But
right.
we do have Director Renee Wheeler here for when you're ready for number 19 to share a little bit more information.
Okay, perfect. So, well, we're ready. So we're gonna do action item number 19 for the recommended adoption and resolution regarding textbooks and instructional material compliance. So I'll let you take it away, Ms. Wheeler.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for having me. And I'll draw your attention over under the monitor here. I have a sampling of the textbooks that we use in juvenile court and community schools. We are still using character-based literacy as our English language arts curriculum, and we focus on 6 novels a year. And the thing that I love about this program is our students are reading, writing, and discussing literature every day. And we have a wide variety of books. And last year we decided that we were going to integrate ethnic studies into our CBL curriculum. And so we are very intentional about the books that we select to make sure that we are covering all of the major themes in ethnic studies through our CBL program. And then we have our ELD curriculum and English language development curriculum. We use Vista. And we started using that last year, and we were very pleased to find out that it's the same one that Santa Maria Bonita School District also uses. And so that works out very nicely here in Santa Maria. And we have all three levels there, our newcomer curriculum, and then there's a specific middle school and a specific high school. And then if you remember, we've worked very closely with curriculum and instruction for our math program. And last year was our first full year using Amplify, which is an online program, and the physical things are what is supplemental. So that was the first time I've ever gone through that process, but it is working out very nicely. Our digital students really do gravitate towards that. And we have manipulatives so that they can have some tangible things that they do there. We use Prentice Hall for our social studies curriculum. And we have a sampling, and then we use Discovery Science for our science program. And they also have textbooks in Spanish, which has been very helpful, especially here at our community school. So in a nutshell, that is our curriculum for JCCS. And I'm happy to say that we have more than enough textbooks for all of our students. Yes.
You didn't say about the economics part.
Oh, it's part of social studies. Yes. And we have 7th, 8th grade, and then of course, world history, US history, economics, and government. There just wasn't enough room on my table.
Like, Madam President, like, first of all, I love your presentation.
Oh, thank you.
And I love hearing what you're doing, stepping in boldly. I can't recite it well enough, but I was just listening to an NPR story this morning about how we politicize learning. And I think what I hear from you is it's not political, it's
learning.
It's learning. Yeah. And so thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I saw the display and I was like, are they in a different room? I didn't recognize it. So that looks great. Thank you for that information and giving us an overview of the curriculum and instruction for JCCS.
Welcome.
Yeah. And I realized that we didn't do our vote for the the vote is now. Sorry. I'm 18 and 19 are very very well linked. So I had that a little confused. So now we will go to the motion to adopt resolution number 2701 for the Santa Barbara County Education's Office compliance with regulations regarding the availability of textbooks and instructional materials as required by the Williams case settlement. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Perfect. And then we'll do a roll call vote.
Okay, Mrs. Ehrman,
Aye.
Mrs. Frost,
Aye.
Mrs. Reed. Aye. Mr. Walker.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Perfect. So next we're moving on to our information items. So we have our personnel report, our Williams Union Complaint Quarterly Report, which we have no complaints. Again, very apropos to our previous motion. And now we're going to move to closed session.